Hey everybody, Who's Your Jedi here with another review for you. This time we're talking episode 10 of Total Drama Pahkitew Island called Scarlett Fever. As you can see, just for a change of pace, we're recording outside today. So anyway, one thing I definitely liked about this episode is it had nods to something that I have made repeated references to here in my reviews, and that is movies from the 1980s. The most obvious one, I think, that probably quite a few people caught was when Jasmine lost her hat going under the door. Obviously, a nod to Raiders of the Lost Ark. At the very end, with the whole inconceivable bit, that I think quite a few, some of the younger folks, the people who don't actually unlike me, remember the 1980s, probably missed that as a reference to The Princess Bride. And boy, if you've never seen that movie, are you missing out? That is an absolute comedy classic. But anyway, this episode we find out that apparently most of the animals, including most likely Bling Bear, are robots. So what with being infested with murderous robotic animals and being able to do all this crazy weather changing stuff, you'd think this is the sort of island that Max would really, really appreciate, but it doesn't. He doesn't. Because at the end of the day, since we're talking about the characters, let's just sort of start there with Max. Max is like those guys in school who are always talking about how they're going to be like famous athletes or rappers or things like that. And then, a couple of years out of school, they're living in their parents' basement and working at Walmart. Except his ambition is just simply be a supervillain. Scarlett, as we see in this episode, is the real deal in terms of supervillainy. And is it just me, or does anybody else really like to see those two characters do like the Team Rocket introduction speech? Be prepare for trouble and all that other stuff. I mean, they've even got the appropriate hair colors. It's just that would just be comedy gold. Seriously, if somebody out there who does like fan art stuff does not draw those two as Team Rocket, I'm going to be extraordinarily disappointed. But anyway, so here it becomes very clear to Max just how that Scarlett is the real deal in terms of evil, and yeah, Max really does not fare very well against somebody who is as I said the real thing. So no big surprise there. Now you do have to give Scarlett credit. She's really pretty darn good at this supervillain thing, and though you got to wonder why she didn't just play things a little bit more cool, and maybe she could have gotten the $1 million. But I guess Chris did kind of force her hand, so I suppose there is that. But I don't know. I don't know. I suppose I'm overthinking that one. But anyway, I do like how when they revealed that she revealed her true nature, she comes out with this like crazy anime hair and just completely and utterly over the top. I mean, it's great. You can kind of tell that I think Scarlett was sort of character-wise a long-term investment for the writers. First we sort of see her just sort of being mildly annoyed with Max and sort of just tagging along with his whole sidekick thing, just as in order to manipulate him and you sort of use him as a tool. Then we sort of see Scarlett talking about like the time how she spent years tormenting her brother and all this other stuff, and you see that as I said, that she's a little bit more sadistic and evil than we had initially been led to believe. And of course, this is the big episode payoff where we see that, yeah, she really was the supervillain all along. And what's really nice about this is that with characters like this, it makes it much more realistic that the writers will probably bring them back in future seasons. Now, granted, Scarlett's main trick is out of the bag now, but again, she's still pretty darn smart and very, very evil. So just imagine her up against someone like Courtney or Heather or Alejandro, or even Duncan. Oh, wow. Can you imagine if she teamed up with Duncan, just the absolute havoc those two would cause? Oh, man. I mean, just seriously, the possibilities. And, Yeah, not a huge amount to say about what's going on with the other campers this time around. Chris is not the most evil person this episode, which is a rare situation for him. But yeah, I do like how they made it quite clear that yes, Chris is perfectly and apparently legally allowed to basically engineer situations that may kill the campers. Yeah, those must be some hellacious release forms. That's all I can say. I kind of think that maybe they sort of realize that the viewers, especially given the events from Total Drama Action, are oddly okay with Chris potentially doing stuff that might kill the campers, but for some reason are very horrified when it looks like he might be abusing the interns. Remember the one intern who got eaten alive by beetles in Egypt very early on in season 3? That kind of, I think, earned Chris quite a bit of flack from the viewers. So I think maybe they've toned that down. But again, of course, this is a fine episode for seeing many examples of Chris's horribly, horribly misplaced priorities. But the thing that we always have to remember, and I think Christian Potenza has even been on the record as saying this, that the true villain of Total Drama is always Chris. Although the little army of evil Chris robots that we got to see this episode, I think those guys make a pretty darn good second. Can you imagine something like that in like a Fallout mod? Like evil Chris robots roaming around the Mojave Wasteland, getting blasted by the courier or the Capital Wasteland to get smashed up by the. Well, you get what I'm saying, man. That would be like the most awesome Fallout mod ever. And yeah, I kind of think that covers everything else that I had to say about this episode. It's a good one. Definitely quite a lot of fun. And I have a feeling that in future seasons we'll be seeing Scarlett again. So hats off to the writers for really doing good stuff with her character, even though she did ultimately get voted off. But that's all for this time, guys. Until next time, take care and have a good one.